In a world where there's a lot of different heating and cooling options for homes, today we're going to talk about what benefits mini splits can give you. Hey, I'm Mark with Ductless, and we're going to talk about top 6 benefits that mini splits can provide for you if you install them in your home or business. So let's get started. So to get into the video, we're going to talk about the top 6 benefits, which are the following: energy efficiency, zone comfort, easy installation, space-saving design, quiet operation, and last but not least, improved air quality. Now, these are not all of the benefits, but these are just top 6 that we chose that we think are most important and what we think is the most popular benefits that people share with us. So let's get into them. The first benefit we're going to cover is energy efficiency. This is by far the most popular benefit that people talk about when they purchase it and they've lived and experienced mini splits, is how efficient they are. Compared to other traditional systems, mini splits are awesome at producing heating and cooling at an energy efficient rate. And so whether you're looking at single zones or multi-zones, typically SEER rating can range between 18 to sometimes high 20s to low 30s. The multi-zones, the typical range for most manufacturers is going to be between 18 to somewhere in the low 20s, whereas single zones can range anywhere between 16 to 18 SEER all the way up to low 30s, and all the way up to, I've seen some that are high 30s. So it's super efficient compared to a traditional force system, which would be on the high side, maybe 20 SEER, but traditionally or probably around 14 to 16 SEER, which is pretty average. So the reason why mini splits are really efficient is because they use something called inverter technology. And what that does is it's a technology that will allow the system to run continuously but use very little energy compared to the counterparts of forced air, which the system's turning off and on and having to use a lot of energy to ramp off. In a lot of our videos, we always use this analogy of a truck that's driving down a highway. Obviously, a truck that's going 55 miles an hour just continuously is using a lot less energy once it's already at 55 than a truck that's going off and on the highway, having to slow down and then ramp all the way back up. So it's very similar to that. The second reason why ductless is really efficient is because it doesn't use any ductwork. Kind of like you see the systems behind me, it's just blowing directly to whoever is experiencing the system in their room, and it's not requiring any ductwork. And the reason why that's efficient is because you don't lose any heating or cooling with air that's being pushed through ductwork. And so with these ductless systems, you're getting the output of the system directly into the room that it's serving. The last benefit we'll talk about in terms of energy efficiency is zoned efficiency. And all that means is if you're installing multiple mini splits within your house, you're able to turn off certain systems that you're not using. So an example of that is, let's say you have a couple units all around your house, one in your bedroom, one in your office, for example. In your office, you're not going to be in your office late at night. Maybe you're a night owl and you do use it, but for most people, they're going to be sleeping in the middle of the night and they won't be using that office unit. So they could just turn it off. And what that translates to is savings on your electric bill because you're just not heating and cooling or conditioning that space that you're not using. So that adds to the energy efficiency of the system. The second benefit of mini splits is zoned control. So similar to the last point that we made in energy efficiency, if you have a multi-zone system where you have multiple indoor units throughout your house or business, you are able to control that system as you wish, meaning that if one side of your house you wish to have one temperature and on the other side you wish to have another temperature, you can do that. And it's really for your own comfort and your own good. So gone are the days where you have to have 72 degrees or 70 degrees throughout your entire house, whether you like it or not. Now you can have a curated solution for your home. So an example of this is if you're in the kitchen and maybe your wife is in the office or vice versa, and you guys want completely different temperatures, that is perfectly fine. Your kitchen system can be set to 68 if you're cooking a lot and you're trying to bring down the temperature, or if you're in the office and you prefer a hotter temperature while you're working, you can do that. And no one has to complain about one temperature being constant throughout the entire house. So it's really a great way to be able to zone control your house. Another benefit of zone control is flexible system schedules. So if in one space you want to schedule the system to turn off and on based on day and night, you can do that, like a bedroom. Let's say you're only spending time in the bedroom at night, and so you want to turn on the system around 8 p.m., make sure the system is setting the temperature to whatever you want it to before you go to bed, and then you get up at 7 or 8 and you want the system to turn off for the day, you can surely do that. And the same can apply for every system that you have controlled, either on your remote controller, locally in the house, or through the apps if the manufacturer allows it. So a lot of different controls that you can have either in the house or on your phone. The last thing under zoned control is that it's a curated solution. Let's say you have an addition that you just built, or you have a basement or any type of new furnished, finished space that you have in your house that doesn't have heating and cooling now. There's two options. One, you could try to add it to your existing system, or you can add a ductless mini split, and it's a completely different climate, completely different system apart from your existing system that's covering your furnished, finished space that you already have. So it's a curated solution that doesn't have to take from your existing system, and now it can provide you a whole new air conditioning, heating solution for that new space. The third benefit is easy installation. Mini splits aren't that difficult to install and can be both for new construction and for existing houses that can be retrofitted. Since the indoor unit and the outdoor units are connected by refrigerant lines, communication cable, those can be run either inside the wall or outside the wall. So depending on whether it's new construction or you have an existing home, you can really customize your installation based on your requirements. It's not like ductwork that you have to install the ductwork and in most cases you're wrapping it with 2x4s and then drywalling over. It can be a lot messier of a process, but for ductless systems, you can install them without having to go through a larger home renovation. Another reason why it's such an easy installation is that manufacturers create versatile indoor unit styles to match whatever needs you have for the house. So the majority of people just install the high wall ductless systems, kind of like the ones that are right behind me, and those are most popular, but they're not the only options. There's also floor-mounted units, there's ceiling cassettes, there's unique ones just like this picture frame behind me. There's many different ways to disguise a unit to put it in different parts of the room depending on what the needs are. Let's say maybe you had a boiler and you had radiators and you're taking out those radiators and you just plan on having a system kind of right where that radiator was. You can choose a floor-mounted system without having to really change much. Maybe there's already a niche built out for it, for the radiator. In other ways, if you don't want anything on the walls, you can do a ceiling cassette. There's so many different ways that you can install indoor units so that you can have mini splits in your home. The last point is that some manufacturers actually make it really simple for you to install it because they already have refrigerant lines in the pre-charged line sets. Something like mrcool, they create a DIY single zone and a multi-zone that already has everything built in, and all you have to do is put it all together. There's other manufacturers that require you to use HVAC professionals because they're the ones dealing with the refrigerant, which is just the gas inside the system that is able to make the system work. And so in some cases, like mrcool, it's really simple. For others, you'd have to get other professionals involved. Not that mini splits are so easy that any dummy can do it. It's a pretty intuitive process. It's very intricate, and you have to watch out for certain things to make sure that the system works for you for a long period of time. But overall, it's a simple installation when all things are considered compared to the alternatives. The fourth benefit is that it's a space-saving design. And all this means is that it requires less space to have a complete system. A central ducted system requires ductwork running through the house, or if it's a boiler, requires radiators. These mini splits typically require less space because you have individual air handlers which are compact in size, and you have smaller refrigerant lines connecting the indoors to the outdoors. Now the outdoors are typically very compact in the sense that they have a side discharge, and all that means is that the system is not a cube like most traditional heat pumps or air conditioners outside. They're very compact, only 12 to 13 inches in width, and depending on the size, it can vary in height. But it can be tucked up against an exterior wall or in an alley, whereas some other outdoor units can be pretty large, up to like 3 feet wide by 3 feet long. So generally speaking, comparing to other products, mini splits are pretty space saving, which could be a pretty big impact if you live in an old home in the city, a row home that only has a tiny alleyway where you can fit a outdoor unit. So it could make a difference for you. The fifth benefit we'll talk about is quiet operation. Now, mini splits vary in how quiet they are depending on the indoor unit style. The wall-mounted units are traditionally the ones that are the quietest. They can go down to 18 decibels, which is advertised as something that is quieter than a child's whisper. And so it's very quiet for some manufacturers, up to even cassettes, which are probably the loudest systems, but they're still under 30 to 35 decibels, which is still comparatively quieter. Now, the big difference in quiet operation is the outdoor unit. Some outdoor units for traditional heat pumps or air conditioners, like you might be used to, like Rheem, Trane, some of the other ones, they have decibel points up to like 70 decibels, whereas for manufacturers like Fujitsu, Mitsubishi, mrcool, their outdoor units are only producing decibels of about 50. So it's considerably quieter, and I'm sure your neighbors, after you install it, could attest to it. Where you might think of an old traditional system that's so loud, the whole neighborhood hears it when it comes on. Mini split outdoor, you could stand next to it, you could barely hear it, and you could have a conversation right next to it without it disturbing you. So that makes a big difference for some people, and that's a benefit that you'd get if you install a mini split in your home. The last benefit we'll talk about today is improved air quality. Now, this isn't the final benefit of mini splits, but the final one for our video. Now, improved air quality for mini splits is due to a couple factors, and we'll break it down into three. The first one is, like we mentioned before, mini splits don't require any ductwork. So there's a lot less surface area for dust, mold, any other particles to collect. And the second one is that the systems have individual filters. So if you have multiple systems in your home, you're able to clean every single filter depending on the use. And the third point is that it's targeted, meaning that if you have more residual, whether it's hair from dogs, whether it's a dog's mudroom or something along those lines, where you're accumulating a lot more particles in the air, you're able to clean those systems more frequently than, let's say, the ones in your bedroom. But all in all, you're really able to pinpoint down to the air quality that you want in your home, depending on whether if there's some rooms that are dirtier than others. So let's compare that to a traditional system where you only have one filter, either in your basement or in your attic or somewhere in your house. What that system is doing is it's circulating air, because return air is going to the system, and it's filtering through that filter and then recirculating throughout the entire house. So let's say you have some particles like, you let your dog be on the first floor, but you don't allow the dog to be on the second floor. The dog's hair follicles are going to circulate through the system, and it's just going to redistribute through the entire house. With this mini split system, you're able to really pinpoint down. If you only keep pets on the first floor, for example, maybe you let them on the second floor, but for this example, let's just say they're only on the first floor, you can really target it down and clean the filter for your first floor system, and your second floor systems are unaffected. If you like this video and you want to learn more about mini splits, and maybe you have a specific question about a mini split because you're thinking about it and you've been really going over the design in your head, feel free to leave it in the comments. We always listen to our customers and we see what feedback they have, and we actually make videos sometimes based on the comments that our customers give us. So feel free to leave those in the comments, or email us, chat us, call us through our website, gotductless.com, and we'll be happy to speak with you and answer those questions and then make a video about it so that you can have something more long-term to look back on. Well, if you like this video and you like the content that you saw today, feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We really do like making content for you guys about mini splits, all things mini splits, whether it's installation, product reviews, you name it. We really do love making these videos for you. So if you liked it, stick around and we'll see you on the next one.